Have you ever noticed how some YouTubers just feel like old friends from the very first video, while others, despite having great information, somehow leave you feeling disconnected? What's happening in your brain during those first few seconds of watching someone new? Your brain is already deciding almost instantly, without you even knowing, whether you'll keep watching or click away. I've spent the past year not only studying the top 1% of creators across YouTube, analyzing exactly how they build trust with their audience from the very first video, but also studying books on trust, communication, and persuasion written by the experts themselves. What I found has changed everything about how I approach content creation. The fascinating thing is that online trust follows the same rules as real-world trust, but with one crucial difference. It can be established much faster through strategic content creation. This accelerated trust building is what separates average creators from those who build loyal, engaged audiences that convert into customers or clients. In this video, I'm gonna break down the psychology of trust that the most successful content creators have mastered, some without even realizing it. This isn't about faking it until you make it or being someone you're not. It's about something far more primal, how your content triggers natural responses in the brain that determine whether or not a viewer decides to trust you. Then I'll tell you about the 3 psychological triggers that makes viewers trust you before they even know you. The truth is, most creators focus on the wrong metrics. They obsess over views, subscribers, and engagement, but completely miss the trust factor that turns casual viewers into loyal fans and clients. I made this mistake for years until I learned what I'm about to share with you. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to bridge what I call the trust gap, the barrier between you and your audience that determines whether they see you as just another face on their screen or someone they genuinely trust. Before we go into the psychology of trust, let's define what trust actually is so that we're both on the same page here. The oldest known version of the word trust is trust in Old Norse. This meant confidence, help, and protection, which makes sense when you think about it. If you trust someone, that means you're confident that this person will help and protect you if it ever came down to it. You can count on them when it really matters. But trust isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's a tool that our brains develop to help us determine who's safe and who might be a threat to our survival. In our primal times, trusting the wrong person could be fatal. So our brains were forced to create a way to determine trustworthiness in a single glance. Our brains evolved over thousands of years to make split-second decisions. Is this person friend or foe? Should I listen to them or run away? These primal instincts kept our ancestors alive, and they're still there running in the background of every viewer's mind when they watch your content. Every time someone clicks on your video, their brain launches into a threat assessment without them even realizing it. This happens in the brain's alarm system, or the amygdala, which processes our emotional responses before our conscious thoughts even sit in. The brain is subconsciously asking 4 critical questions. Is this person competent? Can they actually do what they claim? Do they have good intentions? Are they looking out for my best interests? Are they reliable? Will they be consistent? Are they authentic? Is this the real version of them, or are they tricking me? Until these questions are answered, viewers remain in a state of psychological defense. They're skeptical, quick to click away, and unlikely to take any advice you give them. This is why so many creators with excellent information struggle to convert viewers into subscribers or clients. They're creating content without addressing the trust gap first. This isn't just theory. Researchers have found that our brains make near instant judgments about traits like trustworthiness and competence when we meet someone new. Neuroscientists call this the thin slice judgment, the brain's ability to make complex social evaluations in milliseconds. I call it the trust gap. And it's the invisible barrier that determines whether or not your content succeeds before you've even said a word. This creates a paradox for content creators. Viewers need to trust you before they'll watch your content and become familiar with you. It's the chicken and the egg problem that keeps most creators trapped in obscurity. So, how do you bridge this trust gap from the very first video? It starts with transparent vulnerability. Most creators misunderstand vulnerability. They think it means sharing everything about their personal lives or business, but transparent vulnerability isn't about oversharing. It's about sharing your vulnerability in a way that builds a genuine connection with the people watching your content. And some of you might be thinking, well, if I'm vulnerable online, people are going to make fun of me, or if I share my mistakes, people will criticize me. To that, I want to say you're absolutely right. There's always going to be some miserable internet troll who wants to tear you down so that they can feel better about themselves. But I want to share something with you that might make you feel more confident when it comes to building transparency and vulnerability online. Stephen Covey, the #1 best-selling book author who wrote about trust, discovered that transparency about weaknesses actually builds more trust than only showcasing your strengths. When you're transparent about your process, mistakes, and limitations, you signal confidence and authenticity in a way that perfection never can. It tells the viewer's subconscious, this person is secure enough to show their real self. You see, the most trusted creators don't share everything. They share the right things. When you share a genuine struggle you've overcome, viewers don't see it as a weakness. They see someone who understands their challenges and motivates them to overcoming them. This creates what psychologists call identity fusion, where viewers begin to identify with you because they see parts of themselves in your story. This causes them to subconsciously be supportive of you because being supportive of you means being supportive of themselves, specifically the parts of themselves that they see in your story. This is why case studies and personal stories are so much more powerful than generic advice. When I share how I struggle with imposter syndrome when starting my channel, it resonates with the viewers facing the same challenge in a way that a generic advice never could. But there's a crucial balance here. Oversharing irrelevant personal details can actually damage trust. It can come off as self-indulgent, especially if the audience hasn't built enough rapport with you yet. Because trust is built when your audience feels seen, not when they see a bunch of pointless videos from you. Instead of building trust, it breaks the focus and can make you seem less credible or less in control of your message. The key is to be transparent about the parts of your story that serve your audience. So, how do you know which parts of your life you should be sharing to build trust? This brings us to the most powerful trust building technique of all, becoming a character to your audience through strategic storytelling. Humans are storytelling creatures. Our brains are literally wired to connect with characters, not concepts. This is why we remember stories long after we forget facts. When you build yourself as a character through storytelling, you trigger what psychologists call parasocial relationships, the psychological phenomenon where viewers develop one-sided emotional bonds with online personalities. These relationships feel real to the viewers because they attract the same neural pathways as real-world relationships. This is why viewers will defend their favorite creators as if they were close friends, because psychologically, that's exactly how it feels. But you can't build these relationships if you're just some guru who delivers information on a silver platter for your audience. You have to position yourself as a guide who's a few steps ahead of them on the same journey. You can do this by creating story-driven content instead of just value-driven content. Don't just say 6 tips for landing your dream job. Instead, tell the story of how you figured those tips out in the first place. What mistakes did you make and how did they lead you to a better way of doing things? When you frame your content as a story with yourself as the guide rather than the hero, viewers will naturally place themselves in the hero's position. This is exactly where you want them to be. When viewers feel like heroes, it makes them want to stick around. Who doesn't like feeling like the hero? Unfortunately, this is what most people get wrong. They present themselves as the experts rather than a multi-dimensional character with depth, quirks, and even their own perspective on life and the world around them. Now, what do I mean by depth? When I use depth to describe a character, what I'm saying is this person isn't just stick figure on a piece of paper. They have weaknesses, they have strengths, goals, desires, a backstory. They come from somewhere. Maybe they're an underdog. They started from the bottom, and even against all odds, they still fought their way to the top. Like any good story, viewers want to see some character development. They want to see you grow, struggle, face your challenges head on, and come out on the other side a better version of yourself. Sharing real life stories will give them exactly that. Keep this in mind when you're sharing your life on social media. To know whether or not you should share a personal story in your content, you need to ask yourself these questions. What did I learn from this? What profound understanding did it give me? How does this story add to my character development? And once you've answered those, you can share your story on social media and take your viewers on the same journey you had and lead them to the same new understanding you got. There's one last element that will help you close the trust gap with your viewers and make them feel like they already know you. Our brains are pattern recognition machines. When a pattern is broken, alarm bells go off in our subconscious. Think about it. Every time you come home, you probably close the door behind you and lock it before bed, or at least I hope you do. But let's say you woke up one morning to your front door wide open. Alarm bells would definitely be going off in your head, and you probably suspect someone broke into your home, all because a pattern was broken. The door wasn't closed or locked when you woke up. Patterns create a sense of familiarity and safety. You know what to expect, and there's no surprises. Imagine this scenario. You're shown two photographs of people that you've never met before. You're told one is trustworthy and one isn't. Which one would you choose? Most people believe that they'd make this judgment based on facial expressions or features or just basically how they look. But research tells a different story. In a series of experiments, social psychologist Robert Zandnock, can't pronounce his name, discovered something that changed our understanding of human psychology forever. He showed participants random images of different people. Some images only got shown once, while others got shown multiple times. Later, when the participants were asked which photo they trusted more, they chose the photo they'd see more frequently, even though they couldn't explain why. This became known as the mere exposure effect, or what's commonly called the familiarity principle. But here's where it gets interesting. The familiarity principle is based on a psychological phenomenon that causes humans to naturally trust what feels familiar and consistent to them. Our brains are wired to trust what's familiar and be suspicious of what's not. It was a survival mechanism for our ancestors. This is why most trusted creators use 3 types of consistency that signal trustworthiness in our brain's pattern recognition system. And when I say consistency, I don't just mean posting regularly. It goes much deeper than that. First is visual consistency. Use the same editing, background, similar clothing style, and consistent color schemes across your videos. Your channel should have a recognizable visual signature that viewers can identify even if the sound is off. Look at creators like Ali Abdaal or Alex Hormozi. You can instantly recognize their videos from just the thumbnail because they've established such a strong visual consistency. This isn't just about branding, it's about triggering the familiarity response in the viewer's brains. Here's a big misconception that people get wrong about social media is that, oh, I have to keep changing my shirt, oh, I have to keep filming a new location, oh, I have to do this, and I'm just like, it doesn't really matter because on YouTube specifically, we need consistency. Let's go back to Ali Abdaal. He has a very specific theme and you know what to expect from his videos. His friendliness, his quirkiness about Harry Potter. And there's these little slight nuances that really define who he is. With Hormozi, I mean, literally no strip. It's so obvious, like you know it's a Hormozi video. Second is structural consistency. Follow similar patterns in how you open your videos, transition between points, and close with calls to action. When viewers know what to expect, they feel more comfortable. This is why I always start my videos with a hook that addresses a pain point, then a preview of what I'm about to cover, and then end it with an actionable takeaway. This predictable structure makes viewers feel like they're in good hands. But structural consistency also means you need to be consistent with the style of your content you're gonna post. If your channel is built off how-tos, guides, tutorials, and tips, it's really gonna throw your audience off if you start doing trendy challenge videos or even like a day in the life video out of nowhere. Third is personality consistency. Don't try to be someone you're not. If you're naturally nerdy or serious, embrace that. If you're energetic and expressive, lean into that. Authenticity is immediately recognizable, and it's absence is even more obvious. The human brain is an incredible authenticity detection system. We can sense when someone is putting on an act, even if we can't explain why. This is why trying to copy another creator's personality just never works. Viewers can feel the disconnect, and even more importantly, show up as yourself every single day. If your viewers see you as a community-driven person who volunteers and helps others, but then one day you come online and show them differently, it will destroy all of the trust you've built, and viewers will start to feel like maybe they never really knew who you were from the start. Some people might even feel betrayed, like you lied to them. And this inevitably will always happen if you put on an act. At the end of the day, the mask will always come off. You might last months, even years, pretending to be someone you're not. The aftermath, when people find out that you're a fraud, isn't worth it. Understanding the psychology of trust isn't just about making people like you. It's about creating the psychological conditions necessary for influence. When viewers trust you, they experience what psychologists call cognitive ease, a state of mind where information is accepted more easily. This is why trust isn't just important for content creators, it's everything. Without it, even the most valuable information falls on deaf ears. But trust alone isn't enough if viewers click away in the first 30 seconds. Click this video here to learn how to keep viewers watching until the very end.